Hello, everybody, and welcome to Full Body Pilates for Beginners. This is a fun little workout that I put together and is going to work your entire body. So let's get started. So let's get on our mat and let's come into tabletop here. And the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to warm up our spine. So let's go ahead and start with some cat-cows. And go ahead and really press into your upper back and then bend as much as you can with your lower back. And don't worry too much if it doesn't look like you're doing too much of a bend. It's more about what you're feeling, and any kind of flexibility will come in time. So we're going to do this for a few more seconds, and then we will jump into our first exercise. All right, so let's get into our first exercise here, and it is going to be down dogs into a high plank. So let's go ahead and walk out our feet a little bit to get them all warm and stretched out. And then here we go. We're going to go into a downward dog, and then we're going to go into a plank, a high plank. So the important things to note in this exercise is to make sure that your back isn't sinking down in your plank, that your pelvis is tucked, so you are supporting not only your back, but also you are protecting your lower back as well. If you need a beginner modification, go ahead and come down on your knees. And then when you do your down dog, go ahead and bend your knees as well. So take this at your own pace. Make sure you are staying strong and supported in your exercise as you're going up and down. And then here I'm just showing what beginner modifications could look like. All right, so let's go ahead and do a child's pose. Just kind of wiggle it out, stretch it out, move your body however feels good for you. I tend to move my body a lot during Pilates just because I think it's really important just to keep moving, just to stretch everything out so nothing is too tight. Now we are going to move on to our next exercise, and this is going to be, one of my favorites, the bird dog. So the bird dog is such a wonderful rehabilitative exercise, as well as a fantastic exercise for beginners. It not only works your core and kind of all facets of the body, from the legs to the back to the glutes to the shoulders to the arms. It's not only working all of these things, it's also working your mind, because it takes a great deal of concentration to lift opposite leg and opposite arm at the same time, while still keeping your balance, while still breathing, while still keeping your body in alignment. So let's go ahead and switch to the other side here, and we will continue with this exercise for a few more seconds. Whew, okay. Now let's take a little bit of a breather here. Get some water if you need it. I definitely did. So we will go ahead and take a little bit of a breather, a little bit of a break, and get ready for our next move. And again, just move your body however feels good. I love doing cat-cows. I love stretching out my spine, especially when you're doing a lot of back and core work as we are doing in this exercise. All right, our next exercise is the good old classic plank. This is the forearm plank, and a lot of things to note in this position. You don't want your back, especially your upper back, to sink down. So what you're going to imagine is pressing up in the back. So you can see it's a little rounded. It's not sinking down. You don't want it to sink down. Another thing to note is that you want to tuck your pelvis under so that you're not having too much of kind of an S curve in your spine. If you don't quite have the stamina yet, to do a full plank on your toes, go ahead and come down to your knees. Another modification is with the hand placement. Just play around with the placement of your hands, see what gives you the most stability, what makes you feel the strongest, and then let's go ahead and hold it. All right, let's stretch it out a little bit. Let's move. Let's get the blood flowing. And yes, I am kind of sweaty. It is like 83 degrees in my house. So it's great. It's perfect. All right, so now we're going to get onto the floor and do a little bit of floor work. This is going to work your back and your core, and also your legs. These are some of my favorite exercises, but this one especially, I don't know why, but I love it so much. But what this is working, it's working your back, it's working your arms, specifically it's working your triceps. So if you struggle with developing those triceps, this is the exercise to do. When you are doing this exercise, go ahead and press down with your hips and tighten your glutes on when you come up. So your arms are doing a lot of the work, but also you should feel it in your core, you should feel it in your low back, you should feel it in your glutes. Those are going to be your anchoring muscles, so they also should be working during this exercise. So let's go ahead and do this for a few more seconds. And as you can see, I'm totally feeling this in my arms. If you want a bit more of a challenge, the last few seconds, let's do a burnout with some 3 count ups and then down. So definitely take a child's pose there. Stretch out your arms. I definitely felt that. And then we will go ahead and head on to our next exercise. All right, so our next exercise is also going to be us face down on the mat, and these are called Supermans. So these are also a full body workout. You are working all of the muscles in your body, from your arms, your shoulders, your back, your core, your glutes, your legs, your calves. Everything is working here. You really want to feel everything being strong and tight as you lift up. And then when you get to the top of this range of motion, go ahead and hold it for a second before you come down. So with this, go ahead and find what breathing pattern works for you, what feels good. And also, this exercise is slow and controlled. You want everything going up at the same time. You want everything coming down at the same time. It's very graceful. It is very intentional. So Go ahead and take it at your own pace. And then if you want, the last few seconds of this exercise, go ahead and do some pumps. Get that chest, get that upper back working. Take your arms out as far as you can, whatever feels good, and just burn it out for the last few seconds. There you go. And hit that child's pose because we definitely need it after that exercise. So I'm definitely feeling all of these exercises up until now, and we're about halfway done at this point, but let's go back down to the mat and get ready for our swimmers. All right, so this is working your back. It's working your chest, your core, your glutes, your legs, your toes, your fingers, everything. It is working everything. It's such a magnificent exercise, but also a very challenging one. Find your breath, find your coordination, and just stick to it. If you do need to rest, there's no shame in it. Go ahead, take a break, and then get back into it. And this exercise also works your coordination, is also a mental exercise because it's alternate leg, alternate arm. So opposite leg, opposite arm, that's the way you do it. Just a little bit longer, and then we are moving on to our next exercise. All right, let's go ahead and, well, quick water break if you need one. Again, I definitely do. And we are going to go ahead and roll down onto our back. Go ahead and roll down with control, vertebrae by vertebrae. Protect that back, protect that spine. And then when we roll down, we're going to get ready for the classic toe tap. So go ahead and press your lower back into the mat. Draw your belly button down into your spine. Make sure you have that strong girdle of strength and you're keeping that lower back pressed into the mat. If you feel your lower back coming up off of the mat, go ahead and lower your knees just a little bit, or you can also just keep them up at tabletop. You don't need to do the toe tap until you are ready. All right, let's go ahead and roll out our spine a little bit. Let's roll out our back. Just grab your knees, pull them into your chest, and roll from side to side. All right, and then find your center, find your alignment, and we are going to go into one of my favorite exercises. You will probably see this a lot on my channel. This is the dead bug. This is a fantastic exercise for your entire body, for your pelvic floor, for your core, for your deep core. And it also works your mind because, again, it's opposite leg, opposite arm. And we're going to go at a nice slow pace here. It is all about slow and controlled movements. Try to be graceful. Try to think of it almost as a dance, as choreography. Do what feels good for your body, but also do something that challenges your body because that's really the goal of working out. So let's go ahead and continue with our dead bugs for a little longer. A beginner modification for this is to just toe tap your leg down instead of sending it in a straight leg. Um, but again, work up to being able to send your legs straight out in front of you. All right, let's stretch out our legs, stretch out our feet, and then let's move on to our next exercise. So, this is a really fun and challenging exercise. I call it the bear or the bear plank. You're going to get onto all fours and then you're going to lift your knees up off the ground ever so slightly. And then in this position, you're just going to tap your knees back down. So it's important to keep sort of the same positioning that you had in your plank. You can apply it to this exercise as well. Go ahead and round your pelvis just a little bit to protect that lower back. Press up through the shoulders so you're not sinking down into those shoulder blades. And then go ahead and just tap. Tap at your own pace. You should feel this everywhere in your body. It's such a fun exercise. I actually really love this exercise. So go ahead and just go at your own pace. Go until you feel it. Go until you can't go anymore. But I think we only have a few more seconds left anyway, so let's keep going. And then I'm just doing a few side bends here to really stretch out the sides of my body, the sides of my core, my obliques, just stretching all that out real quick before we move on to our next exercise. All right, so let's get ready for another classic Pilates move. This is called the fire hydrant. It's not a very glamorous name, but it is a very effective exercise. So, at a 90-degree angle, you're going to lift your leg up and we're just going to go for a little bit. This is going to work more so your lower body, but this is also an entire body exercise because your arms and your core have to work to stabilize you and keep you in alignment as you are lifting your leg to the side of you. Whew, okay. We only have a few more exercises left, so let's get into it. Okay, so this is also a classic Pilates move. Again, this one, you can play with your foot positioning as well if you want your foot to be pointed or if you would like your foot to be flexed. See which ones work best for your body, for your muscles, and let's just go ahead and do one side at a time, then we're going to switch. And an important note to make when doing these classic Pilates exercises is that you want your body to stay in alignment. So you want your head to stay in alignment with your spine. You want your spine to stay in alignment with your glutes and your hips. So you're not turning out in any part of your body. You're not really making any grand gestures or grand movements. Everything is staying tight and confined and in alignment. So we're not bending our back too much. We're not sinking too far into our arms or into our back, into our shoulders. Everything is nice, tight, and controlled. All right, and guess what? We are done. So let's go ahead and take a few seconds to stretch everything out, especially your wrists. So I have mom wrists, so my wrists tend to get a little tight after doing a lot of work on the mat. So I'm just going to stretch those out. Feel free to stretch them out with me, but use this time just to stretch your body however feels good. Let's take some more cat cows. Really feel that length in your spine. Really feel all of that tension melting away. And let's just take a few moments to really appreciate our bodies and all of that hard work, and also our minds for pushing us through it. I hope you like and subscribe, and thanks so much for watching.